Hello again, my name's Gabe Zollner. You know, if you watch some of my earlier videos, quite often I refer to the pieces of the puzzle. And I want to do it again in this particular video because there's a whole lot of pieces, and if you put them all together you get a certain image. If you've watched my videos, I've said a number of times that I believe that King Abdullah of Saudi Arabia created the Manchurian Candidate, aka Barry Soetoro, aka Barack Hussein Obama. Now, if you've again watched my videos, I mentioned that about 50 some odd years ago, or 40 some odd years ago, King Abdullah sent $20 million to Harvard. And I believe that was to pay for the degree for the chosen one. Yeah. Now, I've also made videos on a number of these other topics that I'm going to talk about in this particular video. Fox News is probably the only media outlet that's more than fair most of the time, not all of the time. And one of the reasons that is that their hands are sort of tied. Murdoch is the main shareholder in the Murdoch family of Fox News Corporation. Now, and I made videos on this as well when Sean Hannity was relegated to the dead zone, which is the time slot that he now has. And the reason he was put into that time slot is because he would constantly attack the chosen one. And so I guess the contract that he has precluded Murdoch from being able to fire Sean Hannity, so they put him up into the dead zone. And they put Greta into the time slot that Sean used to have. Now, what's interesting is the second largest shareholder of Fox Corporation. You know who that is? And I have spoken about this before as well. It's Prince Alwaleed Bin Talal. He is the second largest shareholder. And I'm going to attach a little link that you can take a look at. And there's a lot of information you can find on the web about exactly what I just said. But this is Saudi Royal backs Iman and Fox News. And it talks about exactly what the title says. You have to understand that Saudi Arabia is the most fanatical country when it comes to Sharia law. They lead the pack when it comes to Sharia law. And I believe, as I have said in other videos, that King Abdullah decided 45 years ago, whatever it was, to create the Manchurian Candidate, aka Barry Soetoro, Barack Obama, to do exactly what Obama is doing. He's destroying the American way of life. And if you take a look at one of the other videos that I posted recently about the 20th hijacker, he's in federal prison and he wants to expose the fact that a Saudi prince funded all of those other Saudi nationalists that flew into the tower and funded this particular individual as well. It was a Saudi prince that did that. And you know what's amazing? It's all of our oil money that has been being sent over to that part of the world for 40, 50, 60 years, 70 years. That's funding all of this insanity. There's, I think, a lot of events taking place that might not be taking place as quickly as they are, other than the fact that King Abdullah is getting old. I think he's over 80. And I think he wants to see some of what he's supported, contributed, and paid for come to fruition. Let's not forget the Boston bombing. There was a young gentleman, I think he's from the royal Saudi family. He was injured in the bomb blast. And Michael went to see him in the hospital, aka Michelle, but there is no Michelle, but that's a different story. Michael went to visit him in a hospital, And then we learned that this particular young prince was on the no-fly zone. And then we learned that, poof, like the magic dragon, he disappeared. He went back to Saudi Arabia. How can someone go back to Saudi Arabia if they're on the no-fly zone? But that's a different story. The pieces of the puzzle all come together and they point in one direction: Saudi Arabia. You know, when Obama, and you might want to Google this, Obama and the postman. Yeah. When the postman that used to deliver mail to Bill Ayers' family met Obama, when Obama was still at Harvard, and Obama apparently went to thank the Ayers for having supported a foreign exchange student. And then when the postman asked him, well, what do you plan to do when you graduate? And with a straight face, he said, I'm going to be president. Folks, that's one of the reasons I don't see him ever leaving, because of that exact reason. Too much money has gone into creating this Frankenstein. And if you notice, we're getting a whole lot closer to having the King Abdullah's dream come to fruition. What was it, last week? In the House of Representatives, they had an imam open up morning prayers. How insane is that? And then you had Muslims praying in the cathedral in Washington. How insane is that? Well, once again, if you take a look at all the pieces of the puzzle, they all point back to Saudi Arabia. You know what? You can think what you like. I told you what I think. And as Bill O'Reilly would say, tell me where I'm wrong. You can't. You know why? Because I'm not wrong. Scary, is it not? It's just a matter of time, folks. Simple mathematics. These folks breed 6.9 to 1.2. What do you think is going to happen in the next 10 or 20 years? Well, if you think that things are going to remain status quo, you're delusional. Muslims will be everywhere. Sharia law will be the law of whatever's left of this country. You think not? You're entitled to your own opinion, as am I.